Hello everyone, my name is Takura, and welcome to the debut episode of the P.O.T.N Podcast, a podcast dedicated toward people and motivating all of you listeners to go that one step further in your lives. On the show, I'll be featuring with a number of guests who will come on and talk about their experiences and how they overcame the challenges in their lives and encompassed the values of P.O.T.N. Now you're probably wondering how I came about the brand P.O.T.N, right? Well, it began in late 2017 after I'd finished my first degree and returned home to my home country in Zimbabwe. Whilst I was at home, I felt like I needed something that represented me, a set of values that defined me as a person, encompassed what I believed in, and overall acted as a beacon of hope and encouragement for anything I'd go through going forward. In December, I established the 4 values P.O.T.N, right? And the explanation is given later in this podcast. But I felt that these 4 values would be the best things that could guide me as I take on life going forward and define me as a person and define my purpose in life. And that's why I chose it. P.O.T.N has a triple meaning. The first being positivity, optimism, tenacity, and nobleness. The second standing for Prince of the North, which I'd like to think is my slogan, and I believe so. And finally, potency. But without further ado, I'll explain all 3. I've chosen positivity because I feel it is a fantastic representation of who I am as an individual, and I'll explain why. My outlook of life has always been that of a roller coaster, but a roller coaster ride that you should enjoy, in the good and the bad times. I've always told myself that life will always get better. That's why a lot of people will always see me smiling or laughing, because I'm embracing every moment and learning all the way through the good experiences and the bad experiences. A lot of people have always wondered why I'm always happy. Because I'm extremely grateful for the position I'm in and the blessings I've received in my life. All of my experiences have helped me develop as a person and have taught me valuable life lessons. Optimism. I've chosen optimism because it relates to my approach to events that occur in my life. Whenever I've decided to do something, whether it's new or old, I've always felt confident enough to complete it. And you're probably wondering how, right? Picture yourself running a race. What are you thinking of? Most likely you're thinking of finishing it, right? I picture myself running the race, but finishing it in an accomplished way, where I feel like I've conquered a challenge. Now I know it may sound premature, but thinking of succeeding before I do is what actually drives me to complete whatever I set my mind to in that moment. Same thing applies when I'm faced with a challenge. I'm already in a space where I'm thinking of overcoming it. I guess that's why I ended up studying an engineering degree, to become a great problem solver, always thinking of solutions and not letting defeat be associated with my name. You're probably wondering, what about failure? Because in some cases, failure will happen. And I believe it's how you take it and use it to bounce back that defines you. If I ever get knocked down, I'm thinking, it's a great time for me to take a step back and reflect, and then come back with a strategy, ready to fight and ready to overcome those challenges. And I guess that's why I've always seen myself as an optimistic person, because I'm not only looking at succeeding, but overcoming the challenges and the failures that I've faced in a way that redefines me and makes me better as a person. Tenacity. Quite a unique word, right? I've chosen tenacity because it best represents my work ethic and determination to get things done. Growing up in a country like Zimbabwe and witnessing what the country was going through, the struggles that the country faced and the struggles my parents faced, and the effort they put in to get me where I am, triggered me to always want to be better and work hard. This has not changed. I've learned new things about myself by being proactive and putting in the work. I've learned that I can do so many things and become multidimensional. Being able to do more than one thing. Not only that, but also be able to learn. I've picked nobleness as a precursor for all the other values of P.O.T.N or P.O.T.N. To achieve great things, I believe a significant amount of humility must be present. When doing anything, I've learned to keep myself grounded, have an open mind, and not limit myself when it comes to finding solutions. And that is the first meaning of what P.O.T.N stands for. Now to the second meaning. I've chosen Prince of the North because I feel it best resembles the position I'm in on my journey to becoming a king in my life. I would say it's a stage of where learning and leadership are the two most important qualities that are under development. And honestly, I like the sound of it. I've used Prince to resemble my life position and North to reflect the destination in which I am aiming to get to in future. Which may sound corny to some of you, but I do like the symbolic phrases and it represents who I am. The final meaning of P.O.T.N or P.O.T.N is potency, which also means influence. And I derived it from being in a position of power to positively influence the people around me, the greater community, and myself. The brand to me is a beacon of hope and good energy for like-minded people like myself who believe in the values and can relate to what I've said in the podcast and to what my guests will say about their experiences in the podcast as well. P.O.T.N for me is a constant reminder that you can overcome any challenge you face in your life by having the right mindset, always looking to overcome problems with solutions, and working as hard as you can to get there, but also remembering to keep yourself grounded. I feel success is far much sweeter when you encompass all those values, when you approach things in a positive and optimistic manner, you're tenacious in your efforts, and you remain noble in all of the activities you're going through, because the road of success is a journey that you should enjoy. The ups and the downs, the highs and lows. Always remember that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you will get there in the end, as long as you stay focused and never give up. Well, that's all for today on the debut episode of the P.O.T.N Podcast. Thank you all for joining and listening. Join us again next week for another episode, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Leave a comment, tell me what you think and what you'd like to listen to in future episodes. Be sure to follow my Instagram at P.O.T.N with full stops in between, and the P.O.T.N official page at P.O.T.N_official.
I'll see them later. Prove to my haters I'm getting better. I'm better.